Yeah. I'm old school, man. I still got VHS, man. Some videos, man. This is a cool one right here, man. This old school wrestling video right here. But let me tell you, I've been a wrestling fan since I was a kid, 1976, 77, with Bruiser Brody, Abdullah The Butcher, all those hardcore dudes, man. They used to come through the Blanchard territory in San Antonio and the Von Erichs in Dallas, and then they used to come down to the Rio Grande Valley. But before I get to this interview, I want to ask everybody out there to hit the subscribe button, and give this video a like, and check out all my other stuff, man. I got a bunch of prank calls and other interviews, but this one is a very special interview I really enjoyed because Bushwacker Luke, the sheep herder, man, I've been watching that guy since I was a kid, and I tell him that on this interview. And plus, we talk a lot about the San Antonio area and the Dallas area, but this is a very interesting interview. Don't forget, subscribe and like this video and give me a comment, see what wrestler you'd like or who's your favorite wrestler. That'd be cool to find out. I'm Rock and Roll James, and I've got wrestling legend and pioneer, part of the Sheep Herders and Bushwhackers. This is Bushwacker Luke. How you doing, mate?
Bloody lovely, tell your mother.
What I want to know is whatever happened to your brother. How's he doing?
He's down in New Zealand, mate. He got a real bad infection and 202 staph infection, and he went downhill. He was in hospital for 12 weeks and with rehab and that. He went down from 240 to 150, and then he got well and healed up, and he says, well, I'm going home to be with my daughters and grandkids. So he packed his bags, and he said goodbye. Sayonara. He said goodbye to me. And he headed back to New Zealand.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about that, Bushwacker Luke, and I hope he gets well soon. But I don't think that's a problem because you're tough enough to defend yourself. You always have been.
That's right, man. I'm still going around Europe, England, and the States. I got a few miles on me now, mate. I'm not a young one, but I'm still in the ring.
How many miles does Bushwacker Luke have on his odometer?
Well, I could say, with 13,000 matches plus. How many miles? I got well over 100,000, a few 100,000 miles. I marched a few miles, in other words, mate. As Jesse Ventura would say, here comes a marching moron.
Hey, man, let me tell you, Bushwacker Luke, I grew up watching you in wrestling, and I'm 50 years old, man. Damn.
Right. You watched me down here. I was working out of San Antonio for Southwest Championship Wrestling in the 80s, early 80s to 84, maybe, 84, and I was the Sheep Herders.
Yeah, I remember.
We worked right across the valley here.
Yeah.
At all the parks with Bruiser Brody, Abdullah, Manny Fernandez, Dick Murdoch. We had a good crew.
Yes, you did, and that was my favorite time of wrestling, man. When I got to see you over here in the Westaco Football Stadium versus the Sambui Express, and you guys were doing, you were with Joe Blanchard and Tully Blanchard's, federation out there, Southwest Championship Wrestling. As a matter of fact, I have a good friend that was part of that whole place. His name's Rusy Gonzalez, man, and he says hi.
Rudy, I started him in the business. You know that's West. The stadium, we drew some big crowds there on a Sunday afternoon.
Yes, I remember. The whole place was jam-packed, and you guys took it all the way to the back of the dressing rooms, man, with trash cans and the whole pit. You guys were hardcore wrestling before hardcore wrestling, man.
We were known as Hardcore before Hardcore became a name brand.
That's right, man. ECW came up with that hardcore, man. But you guys, Abdullah The Butcher, I remember seeing him versus Carlos Colon. I remember seeing Bruiser Brody. Those dudes were downright for real scary, man. You know what I mean?
They were my boys, mate. I was Joe Blanchard's booker at the time. I booked the talent and wrote the television. And, those guys what you just mentioned, they came to me with other territories I went to. I took them with me. Brody and Abdullah they drew money, big money.
Yeah, and I remember Cowboy Scott Casey, man. Whatever happened to that guy?
No, that guy's Scott came and saw me at a signing at Hulk's store about 6 months ago. He's nearly bald and he's about 175 pounds. You wouldn't recognize him. He had to tell me who he was.
Wow, man. Hey, well, you know what, Bushwacker Luke? I'm really looking forward to meeting you tomorrow. And let me tell you, man, I've always been a fan, Bushwacker. I've been a fan since you and Snuka and all the other great wrestlers, wrestling legends were running around from territory to territory before WWE took over the whole world. But, man, back when it was, the territories, I used to love watching.
That was good. There wasn't the money like it is today, but the old territories were good, going from one to the other. Yeah, I remember battling Manny and Dick Murdoch down there too. The Zambui and Manny Fernandez and Dick Murdoch.
Those guys were as tough as they could come, man. Tough as nails. That's what those dudes were.
Yeah, that was the good days, mate. The good old days. But the kids, now that, when we went in the Hall of Fame, mate, in 2015, the people were saying, on Facebook, who the hell are these two clowns going in there? No, they didn't know that we'd been around traveling the world since 68.
You guys paved the road for a lot of wrestlers today, man, and I highly commend you, and I got a lot of respect for you and your brother and the whole crew that ran around with you guys back in the day, man.
Mate, if you were near me now, I'd give you a good head licking. How about that?
Yeah, well, I'll have to wait till tomorrow after we eat that breakfast taco. We'll see you tomorrow, Bushwacker.
Okay, mate, smother yourself with sardines. I like that flavor.
Hey, this is Rock and Roll James. Thanks for listening to this awesome interview with Bushwacker Luke. I got a lot of interviews I'm going to be loading up on my YouTube channel, so make sure to give it a like, comment there at the bottom if you got any questions, and don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe and hit that little bell so whenever I upload a new interview or a prank call or whatever crazy stuff I'm up to, you'll be notified immediately, and that way you can find out what's going on the Rock and Roll James YouTube channel.